Hello everyone and welcome to the Stegga channel. My name's Ben Wilkinson and I'm the creator of Stegga, and it is my absolute pleasure to bring you this video where we introduce our very first brand ambassador, Mr. Cody Flom. So we thought it would be really cool just to jump into an interview with him, just kind of get his lowdown on why he's joining Stegga and what he thinks of the brand and the product and his reasoning behind why he wants to join. So without further ado, let's jump straight in. Hey Cody, it's great to be speaking with you. Hope you've had a really nice Christmas and it's great to be catching back up.
Likewise, man. I'm stoked to be catching up and being a part of this.
So I'm here today to kind of just have a little bit of a chat with you really about how you got involved with Stegga and how you think that's kind of going to affect your riding and your day-to-day training routine.
Sounds good, man. Let's get into it.
I wanted to start off by just touching on a few things from kind of earlier in this year. Most notably, your win in Scootfest.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations, man. That's amazing.
Thank you.
It's just so cool to see how kind of scootering as a sport has evolved and, you know, been pushed over the years to the point where now we're getting people like yourself just throwing such ridiculous tricks. I think one of my favourite ones from your run, especially, being that 540 flare bar whip, was it?
Yeah, that was it, man.
Ridiculous. It's like, how do you even mentally condition yourself to do something like that?
It's gnarly, but I'm so stoked. Like, that was one of the hardest tricks that I did in that video for sure. I appreciate it.
But yeah, so as well as that, we were talking earlier before we started filming about your trip up to Woodward. I believe you went up to the new Woodward recently.
Yeah, I was able to visit one of the new Camp Woodwards in Park City, Utah. And one of the cool things about all the Woodwards is that they have their own gymnasium. And they have like super trampolines there. And they were actually gracious enough to allow me to use the Stegga scooter on one of their tramps. And so I was super stoked to try the scooter out on a super tramp. So I have some of the content from that as well that we will be releasing soon.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I imagine you can get some serious height on that.
I had quite a good time with it.
So other than kind of Woodward and that, I know you're really into travel yourself. It's been a bit of an odd year, and on the back of that, this is going to be quite a difficult question, but do you have any plans to travel at all?
Hopefully I want to. As you said, we don't really know what the state of the world's going to be like, and I would love to make it back to the UK as well, since I really haven't been able to tour internationally for quite some time.
Sure, sounds good. And again, it'd be really good to see you back here in the UK again, Cody. You're welcome anytime.
I appreciate it. Hopefully I can get out soon.
And, you know, this is where I really kind of wanted to touch down with Stegga. We've created the trampoline scooter as we have with Stegga because we used to use them back in the day when we all first started riding. And I knew that you yourself use trampoline scooters and practice with them anyway. I've seen you use them on YouTube. And the first question, I guess, is what is it that you liked about the Stegga?
Yeah, honestly, one of the main things that I really like about the Stegga is how proportional it is to what my scooter feels like. I think one of the hardest things to replicate with like a trampoline scooter is the front end weight, because the front and the back end weight, to be honest, because you're not riding with wheels. However, the weight distribution of the Stegga Complete is all over very well thought out. And when I was using it myself, I felt as though I could easily translate the tricks that I was doing on the trampoline to the skate park.
Yeah, no, I'm super glad that's how you feel. It's very awkward not having a fork,
Right.
in theory, but then when you translate it over and add all the weight into the right places and things, that's the kind of response that we were hoping to get.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm pretty glad.
It's definitely trippy looking at the scooter and not seeing a fork. And then you go to use it and it actually feels as though you do have a fork and a wheel on there. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. I mean, what's your favorite trick to throw on the Stegga, or that you have thrown on it so far?
So far, it's probably a buttercup, simply because it's like the perfect combination of like overhead and whip combos, and you can feel like the quality, like gyration of the scooter when it's going like over your head, and it makes it feel like a normal scoot.
Any favorite combos on it?
Combos, probably whip bar combos and full whips, to be honest with you. simply because like it's easy to throw in between each and every bounce that you're doing on the scooter. And if you're trying to learn a new trick like double buttercup or something, you can toss a whip bar, bar whip, or full whip just like no problem.
Have you had a chance to experiment with taking the bars off at all yet and using your own? And if you have, how have you found it?
I haven't had the chance to do that quite yet. However, like I'm planning to put my complete scooter that I make with Lucky Scooters, I'm taking those bars off and putting it on the Stegga. So I'm excited to see how that feels.
Okay, sweet, nice. Yeah, no, it'd be really cool to see how that kind of works out.
Yeah.
What would you kind of say from your experience from building your own trampoline scooters and taking them onto the trampoline and learning tricks with? How would you say the Stegga kind of compares to that, and what's the main difference between them really?
I think, well, for those of you guys who don't know, I've grown up on trampoline scooters. I've ridden scooters since I was about 10 years old. I've grown up on trampolines. And so naturally, the scooter and the trampoline just kind of came together. So I've been making my own trampoline scooters since I was probably like 11 or 12. And now I'm 20. So it's been a while. I think the biggest difference that I see with the Stegga and the trampoline scooters that I make is simply like the assembly of them all. Like, to be honest, putting a trampoline scooter together, getting the duct tape and the right materials that you need in order to not rip the mat is an absolute hassle. And I've also noticed when I make my own trampoline scooter, the weight isn't always exactly the way that it feels on my normal scooter because it's the same scooter as what I normally ride. However, it doesn't have the wheels. With the Stegga, what I like about it is that it accounts for the lack of the weight in the front end and the back end of the scooter. And so it makes it feel a little bit more like my normal scooter that I ride at the skate park.
Have there been any issues you've encountered while building your own homemade trampoline scooters?
For me, building my own trampoline scooters, I always had the issue with getting the duct tape that I use in order to like keep all of the padding on the sharp points of my scooter from ripping, because you're applying a lot of pressure on like the deck aspect or the deck part of the scooter when you're using it on the trampoline. And if your foot slips on duct tape, it just rips it completely. And so you're constantly having to reapply, tape to it so that way it doesn't rip the trampoline. That's probably the biggest nuisance and the biggest problem that I've had with making my own.
As part of your training routine, you're a professional scooter rider. You ride scooters, for a living, doing competitions and all that kind of thing. Do you have a specific kind of training routine, and how has the Stegga been integrated into that?
So for me, when I'm learning, there's two different styles of training, I guess you could say, when I'm riding my scooter. One is for competition riding, and that's simply focused on endurance and stamina and building my strength in that way. And then the second would be if I'm filming for like a video part and I'm trying to learn a specific new trick. That would be where the Stegga comes into play because it's lowering the risk factor for learning the basics of said trick. Say it's a front flip front bri. If I'm trying to learn that trick, it's a big hammer, and the risk factor if I'm trying that at the skate park is really high. However, starting on the trampoline helps lower that risk and increase my chances of actually being able to land that trick for my edit.
Definitely, that's what I want to see as well.
Sounds good. I'll get it done.
Focusing on big tricks like that, as you've said, does take quite a lot of mental power to push through. How would you say Stegga is useful for younger riders, beginner riders, maybe even intermediate level riders? What kind of things should they be looking for using Stegga?
So in the mental aspect of riding, that's one of the most important aspects in any action sport is having the confidence that you need in order to land a trick. And as we were talking about before, having a trampoline scooter such as the Stegga lowers the risk factor of learning a new trick, which increases your confidence levels. So if you're beginning in your scootering, path, your scootering journey, whether it's just a hobby or you're trying to become a professional, having a Stegga will increase your confidence because it gives you the awareness of a trick that you're trying to learn that's necessary in order to have the confidence that you need in order to land that trick at the skate park.
And again, this is one of the things that we've been looking at when we were actually developing and designing Stegga. We kind of used a range of different riders from beginner up just to kind of see how these guys reacted to it. And thankfully, they were able to pick things up that they otherwise found a little bit more difficult, and then transfer them over from the Stegga, to the skate park.
Yep, that's the point of the whole thing, and I think that you guys hit it spot on.
What would you yourself say the main benefits of using the Stegga trampoline scooter are?
I think the main benefit is it builds, as we were talking about, it builds your confidence level in learning new tricks. I think that one of the biggest obstacles that a lot of riders, especially young riders, face is like falling. A lot of people are afraid of falling, getting hurt, and getting injured. And obviously, like, nobody wants to get injured. That's like the number one rule in any sport is don't get injured. And especially when you're younger, you kind of don't really know how to fall. You haven't really got the same air awareness as you would if you were a professional. So starting out, I think that having a Stegga scooter builds that confidence because it gives you the opportunity to try bigger tricks that you may not be comfortable with at the skate park on the trampoline. So that way you can gain that air awareness, gain that awareness of your scooter, how it feels as well, which will in effect build your ability to have confidence doing the trick at the skate park.
Would you say then that using the Stegga scooter actually helps you learn how to fall, and what kind of helps with the ability to bail, I suppose, safely?
I think in a way, definitely. I mean, one of the biggest factors with falling is getting away from like your scooter, getting away from your equipment. And if you're in the air, you have the Stegga in your hand, you're on the trampoline, and you're about to bail, it teaches you like, okay, I can duck and roll essentially, get away from the scooter, and I'll be fine. And it can kind of translate into the skate park as well.
Okay, so we've been discussing Stegga, and I know that you're keen to get as involved as possible, Cody. We've got our Instagram page set up now, we've got our YouTube page set up, and we have quite a few things in the lineup, games of Scoot and that kind of thing, seeing how we can push other riders' skill levels. Any videos that you'll be putting the Stegga into?
Yeah, I'm excited to incorporate the Stegga scooter into kind of just like my daily routine, or more or less a weekly routine of just riding. Incorporate it into like different vlogs that I make, and also like creating content, as you said, like games of Scoot with maybe some fans, maybe some of my homies over in the UK, and also doing maybe some Call of Shots videos. So I'm excited to be a part of that.
The first thing we've got planned actually is slightly different, and I'm hoping that you're going to be good for this one, Cody. Is we are going to do Stegga time trials. So think of, say, 5 tricks that you reckon you can do in under 30 seconds. Combos, singles, bangers, whatever. And what we're going to do, we're going to get those filmed, get those put onto Instagram Reels, and see if anybody can beat you in how quickly those tricks are done.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. That'll be fun.
But yeah, thanks for your time. And it's been really good to chat. I'm glad that we've managed to get through some of these questions and just pick your brain a little bit for some of those little morsels of information. And hopefully we'll be getting into that content very soon. Again, you know where it'll be, up on our YouTube and through our Instagram. And hopefully we'll see everybody there.
Likewise, man. I'm stoked to be a part of Stegga. Check out our content coming soon.